They say the season is a marathon, perhaps a metaphor. The Pirates, a month into this season, off to their best start since 1992, the last time they won the division. And today they will play host to the Cincinnati Reds here at PNC Park. And welcome into the booth, Joe Block and Bob Walk with you, your Sunday telecasters on a throwback Sunday here again. And the Pirates going with Jeff Locke today, and Monday in Colorado, he was about as good as it gets.
Anytime you go into Colorado and you face that lineup with all their good hitters, the power that they have, and in that ballpark especially, you really have to have your A1 control. And that's what I think the story was with Locke. He was able to move that ball out in the corners, in and out the entire ball game, and really, I thought, kept the Colorado hitters totally off balance. They never got any rhythm up there at the plate whatsoever.
And the Reds today with a little bit of a different look. They were supposed to go with Raisel Iglesias today. Instead, he's going to be going on the disabled list, so now a bit of an unknown starting for Cincinnati.
Well, they've really had to deal with this situation many times. You see their 10 Red pitchers since last season making their major league debut. Tim Adelman don't really know a whole lot about him. He's an old rookie. He's he is 28 years old. So we're just going to have to see exactly how he goes and what kind of stuff he's got, just like the Pirate hitters.
Now look at our Allegheny Health Network injury update. And for the Reds, now 5 starters on the disabled list for them. The Pirates hope to take advantage. They've won 6 in a row. Could be lucky number 7. They go for the sweep. Pirates and the Reds coming up next here on Root Sports.
Baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by Allegheny Health Network, Health for All. By Bordas & Bordas, official legal partners of the Pittsburgh Pirates. Visit bordaslaw.com. And by Day Automotive, we're gonna make your day. Let's go Bucks!
And turning out to be a pretty decent afternoon here. We thought that we might see some rain showers. Instead, the clouds burning up and some sunshine poking through here on a Sunday. Kids Day here at PNC Park. And the Pirates going for their 7th win in a row, and some kids going for some memories that will last a lifetime.
Yeah, they'll love being able to go out there with those 79 unis.
Weren't even a twinkle in the eye yet. Here's the lineup for the visiting Cincinnati Reds. Brought to you by Honda, and Zach Cozart leading things off as the Pirates have kept him to just one hit in this series. Billy Hamilton moves up to the #2 spot. Votto Phillips, Bruce, Suarez now in the 6th spot. Duval, Barnhart, no Mesoraco in this series. Tim Adelman making his major league debut.
Take a look at Locke's numbers, brought to you by Hyundai. And one of the things that we talked about in the open was the great control that Locke was able to show in that game in Colorado. And that has not always been the case this year. He's had a couple of games where he was a little on the wild side. That's why he has those 15 base on balls. Today, we hope that control is with him, working well.
And the other men that are with him today are Honda defense. Marte, McCutcheon, and Polanco. Marte banged up, hit with a couple of pitches last night, back in there today. Sean Rodriguez getting the start at third. Mercer, Harrison, and Jaso, and Chris Stewart doing the catching. Marte hit in the hand, hit a ball off his ankle last night, then got hit again in the arm. Andrew McCutcheon, a little bit of a bulky knee last night, and it was just kind of a raw, cool, and rainy night. Back in there today.
Kind of thought we might get a little showers today, but right now it's awfully nice out, warm.
Hazy sun. Zach Cozart, who came in almost at 400 in this series, 1 for 9 in the 2 games. Locke at 94 miles an hour. That's some good velocity from Locke right off the bat. Right into the shift. It's Josh Harrison to retire him.
That fastball said 95. That might be as hard as I've ever seen Locke throw.
And a Rivers Casino tips to win.
Well, we talked a lot about his control in Colorado, but another thing that he really had going well for him, that was the changeup. Excellent changeup. And the Liriano last night, great changeup. He used it very effectively against these red hitters. I'm hoping to see the same thing this afternoon. And I'm throwing a little call out for Stewart. I think you know, the bench has been so good for us this year. Already on you know, we were talking about that a little bit on the radio last night, and I think Stewart's going to have a big day at not only doing a great job behind the plate as always, but going to have a good day with that stick.
Jaso almost able to get to that ball. Wasn't hit very high in the air. Ball and a strike. Yeah, Stewart has been a big part of things when he's been in there. Jaso, that ball was not hit very high in the air. He didn't have a lot of time to get underneath it. Still almost able to make a play. And the speedster's going to have extra bases here. 3 hits last night. They move him up in the order, and Hamilton streaking for a double.
Well, thank goodness it hit the stands where they come out real close there to the foul line. With Hamilton's speed, if the ball gets down in the corner, then you got a very good chance that he's going to try and go to third with just 1 out. That's when you want to gamble to get to third base, is when there is 1 out. But when that ball hit the stands, and that means he's going to have to stop, just going to be 2. But that doesn't mean he still won't try and get to third here. Gotta keep an eye on him.
4 steals for Hamilton, even with the lefty batting Votto up. Makes it easier for Stewart to throw on to third, but with Hamilton's world-class speed, it often doesn't matter.
Well, he knows he's out there because of what he can do on the bases, not because he's a great hitter. So this is where he has to shine. Once he does get on base, he has to do the special things. And well, he's got a big lead at second, and he is very capable of doing special things on the bases. And we don't get to see the American League all that often, but you know, there's nobody in the National League that I'd rather have on the bases to try and steal than Hamilton. And that really includes Marte, who's about as good as it gets. But Hamilton,
he just hasn't been on base a lot. That's why he doesn't lead the league in steals right now.
You can't steal first.
3 singles last night, a double here today, but Locke getting quickly ahead 0-2 on Votto. Hamilton running. Good pitch to throw on, and he still steals it. I mean, that's about tailor-made, and still he's in there.
Yeah, he's not much of a lead.
He's as fast as it gets, isn't he?
A good throw, good quick release, a good quick tag.
Yeah, everything was done perfectly.
Even tried to block him off the bag with the foot.
5th steal for Hamilton at 3rd with 1 out. They said he fouled it off.
Yep, foul tip.
And so Locke strikes out Joey Votto.
Stewart able to hold on for the strikeout.
And just that tick.
Yeah, you go by the sound. When you're the umpire, you hear that a little noise,
Click, pop.
And then immediately right after you hear another noise of the ball hitting the glove, and then you know it didn't bounce off the air. It bounced off wood. That's what the other sound was.
Jeff Locke consistently 94 here in this 1st inning. Brandon Phillips.
There's the good changeup. Beautiful. And Phillips really, he was probably the one that looked most uncomfortable at Laureano's changeup last night. He took a lot of swings just like that one.
Phillips now 34 years old. They trying to start that bat a little early.
Good control from Locke. They wanted that ball up and in. That's where he put it. That's the key with that fastball. You want to be able to follow the catcher's glove around. Wherever he puts it, that's where you want that fastball. Now, you can't always absolutely center punch the glove, but make it to where he's not having to reach back across the plate to make the catch on those fastballs.
2-1 on Phillips with Hamilton at 3rd.
Both these fastballs, he's missed the strike zone, but he's pretty much put it in the real close to the area where his target was. So he's showing good control, even though he's fallen behind 2-1.
And Phillips in front of the off speed, and that's the inning as Hamilton with that 1-out double left stranded at 3rd. And the Reds strand that one-out double by Billy Hamilton. Now let's take a look at our RAV4 lineup for today. The Pirates in the throwbacks every home Sunday. And John Jaso, one of the best leadoff man in the game here today. 316, Andrew McCutchen to follow. Then Josh Harrison, first time in the 3 spot in a couple of years. Marte Polanco, Sean Rodriguez at third today. Mercer Stewart, and then Jeff Locke.
Tim Adelman, numbers with Louisville. The one that really is impressive right there. Opponent batting average is .206. Definitely deserved the call up. The ERA maybe a little bit high, but not giving up a lot of hits.
First major league start. And a long road for Adelman. Filling in today for Raisel Iglesias. A little shoulder concern puts him on the DL. Now 2 strikes on Jaso, who took the first pitch out of the ball game, out of the ballpark yesterday. A career .300 hitter as a leadoff man. One ball and 2 strikes. Got the sunglasses on today. It's kind of a hazy sun, lots of clouds, sun peeking through. We thought we might have rain showers today. And Duvall is there to retire Jaso to start the Pirates first. So Tim Adelman's got an out in the big leagues. McCutchen.
That'd be kind of a thrill for Adelman to work for something for so long, and finally here he is, 28.
Big cut from McCutchen, strike 1. 95 from Adelman. Was throwing in the high 80s, low 90s when he was drafted by the Orioles out of Georgetown. Jamming McCutchen there, 2 strikes. Hitless in his last 11 after a big game on the road trip, that 3 home run night. Leads the club with 5 home runs. A little bit of deception too from Adelman. Looks like it has that kind of hesitation delivery. A little hitch there that might throw off a hitter.
Who was that? We saw somebody the other day was doing that. De La Rosa. Same thing. Remember, he kind of come to a stop. They look like a flamingo.
Here's the 1-2. McCutchen grounds it foul.
His stop was when he had his, when he was only on one leg, his knee up in the air, and he'd just balance there on one leg, and then he'd go.
I'd like to see him on Mother's Day. What he looked like.
Foul ball. On Mother's Day.
Then you'd have a pink flamingo.
A pink flamingo.
Yeah.
Yeah, they turn pink because they eat brine. Little shrimp.
Leave it up to you to know. Here's the 1-2. Up high, 2-2.
Flamingos are actually gray.
Wow.
Turn pink because of their diet.
Oh wow. So if I ate a lot of seafood, I would turn.
You'd turn just like that, right?
Oh, okay,
there.
all right. So that's seafood cotton
and
candy.
by the way, that's the only proper cotton candy.
Ah. McCutchen down on strikes, and there's the first big league strikeout for Adelman. That'll be a souvenir.
He'll definitely remember that. He'll be able to brag a little bit who his first big league strikeout was. Just a four-seam fastball.
Now Josh Harrison in the number 3 spot today. Fourth time Jay Hay's been there. Look at that, 333. 9-game hitting streak. The Sox pulled up today with the matching that waistband. And no belts for these throwbacks from 1979. Hamilton with room. And Tim Adelman in his major league debut sends down the Pirates in order in the first. Pirates and Reds are scoreless. And you'll never go hungry sitting in the all-you-can-eat seats at PNC Park, presented by Sugardale. You can eat unlimited hot dogs, hamburgers, soda, ice cream, and more. Could you even fit more? Yeah, why not? Tickets start at $45, and you can go to pirates.com/all-you-can-eat. Find out more about that. Enjoy yourself here at the ballpark. It's turning out to a nice day. We got some sunshine. Jay Bruce will lead off the Reds second. And some cloud cover, but boy, it was looking gloomy a couple of hours ago. Bruce sends this one down the line foul. And now a little tough to see down there. Some guys got some sunglasses on. With a strike on Bruce now, they're going to move 3 men on the right side of the infield. Rodriguez crossed over. He broke his bat. 2 strikes on Jay Bruce. Jeff Locke consistently at 94, touching 95 here. But typically working in that 90 or even 91 range, so his velocity much improved today. Ray Searage celebrating a birthday. Happy birthday, Ray. And he strikes out Jay Bruce on a foul tip.
He's liking that yellow uniform. Like he cut that fastball, didn't it? The way it was spinning.
Yeah.
And a little side spin to it, and it even looked like the ball kind of moved away from Bruce just ever so slightly.
Here's Suarez. Moved down from the number 2 spot today. We'll have to find out from Locke if that's something that he's adding to his repertoire, because that one was significantly lower than the 4-seamer that he's been throwing in terms of speed. Makes some sense. And that little
Yeah, you can't throw it. If you come off the side of the ball, it's very difficult to keep that velocity up. You know, there's some guys that can do it, and that, for instance, Melanson, he doesn't lose much when he throws his cutter. I think once you get to where you're losing 3 or 4 miles an hour, you need to call it a slider. Ball right in on the label. Soft contact for an easy ground out.
And Locke, the only base runner he's allowed. Hamilton hitting a ground ball, hard ground ball down the third base line. Went for a double. Adam Duvall. He's kind of picking up where he left off. And here, that first time around the order, still hasn't really needed the curveball that he did not use at all in Colorado. Isn't he always the most fascinating case study? We're always paying attention to Jeff Locke.
Well, the one thing we always are looking at is the control of that fastball. Is he able to put it where he wants to? And I think it looks great today.
Able to get it away to right-handed batters and come in here. Always able to locate in.
Here it is. Right there where the glove was.
Previous pitch worked it away. Staying out of the middle of the plate. 1-2. This will be a souvenir.
Stewart wanted that one not only in, but he wanted it up and in. And that's where Locke put it. It's got to be fun for a catcher. When he puts down fastball, he knows where it's going to be. You know, it's not just like, okay, here it comes, I'm going to have to stab it. No telling where he's going to throw it.
We were saying last inning, you know, they called for some pitches, you know, inside, way out of the zone, but that's exactly where he wanted the pitch, and he still threw it there.
We'll see how well he follows the glove here. Yep.
Hit off the end of the bat. Mention with room. And Jeff Locke works a 1-2-3 inning. Still no score.
Pirates Baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by the Chevy Equinox and your Western PA Chevy dealers. And by Barrel. With express service, you're in and out in no time. Visit barrelservice.com to find a location near you. Let's go Bucks!
And our Barrel Automotive League leaders, the teams who have been hit with the most pitches. And Starling Marte leads it off. Apropos, Pirates hit most often, and Marte hit most often in the National League. A couple of times last night.
Well, they try to throw him up and in an awful lot, and he won't move. He gets hit a lot in the tricep area, back of his hand.
Hit well to center. Hamilton has room.
Took a couple looks at that wall as he was going back there, trying to make his mind up whether he was going to be able to get to it or not.
Doesn't need the sunglasses yet. It's kind of a hazy sun today. Gregory Polanco. An average at .302. 14 RBIs, couple of home runs. On base over 400. And he has walked more than he has struck out. Usually a accomplishment reserved for very few these days.
We have a couple of hitters like that now.
Cervelli has been in that realm. He still is. The Pirates, one of the best teams at walking, second best in baseball. They don't strike out all that much. That keep the line moving offense. And it continues. Base hit for Polanco, and now deciding for two. He decided too late.
I wonder why he did. He slowed way down coming around first base and then decided to go ahead and take off.
He's out 8-6. Hamilton to Cozart. Give him a single. Yeah, he did not get out of the box fast, and he did not really turn it up until
didn't run at all really until.
And the ball did not get away from Hamilton.
Yeah, he didn't run hard until he saw that he needed to, and then it was too late.
Sean Rodriguez homered last night, a 2-run shot. That's why they tell the youngsters run out of the box hard, just in case.
When I saw him, I mean, like right now I'm watching the ball, and then I looked down, and he's rounding first. He wasn't going very fast, and I thought he had slowed down, but he hadn't slowed down. He was just running slow the whole time until he decided to speed it up.
Rodriguez narrowly beneath his RBI total from last year already. With about 200 more plate appearances. Already as many home runs, more walks than he had all of last year. Adelman so far looking composed in his big league debut. He strikes out Sean Rodriguez. So he's faced the minimum through 2, and it remains scoreless.
After 2 innings at PNC Park, we've got a scoreless game between the Buccos and the Reds. I'm Robbie, it's Mikowski. Today was a busy day all throughout the city of Pittsburgh, and the Pittsburgh Pirates were busy as well, as a couple guys were sponsors in the Pittsburgh Marathon ran today right around downtown Pittsburgh and all over, including Francisco Cervelli. In today's Point Park Instagram, there's a photo of Francisco Cervelli wishing everyone luck from the YMCA of Pittsburgh. Francisco Cervelli has a pretty good involvement in that, Joe and Bob, when you talk about the involvement with the marathons. Andrew McCutcheon does as well. He sponsored Kutch's crew. And 4 members of our Root Sports team here took place in the Pittsburgh half marathon and full marathon. Director Pete Toma, Associate Director Tyler Graham, and also Kathy Paisano and Stephanie Spizzaletti ran it as well. So congratulations to all the thousands of others that took part in a great day here in downtown Pittsburgh.
Thanks, Robbie. That's a great sentiment as Locke gets his first out on Barnhart there. Yeah, well, I mean, can you imagine? Have you ever run anything like that? I have such a great admiration for people who can do that. I don't think I've run that much in a month, let alone all in one morning.
No, I was not a runner. The day that I retired from baseball is, well, I take that back. I did try to run on my own a little bit a few years ago,
but not 13 or 26 miles at a time, right?
No, that's a little excessive, maybe.
Driving in this morning, seeing everybody coming in, and some people are wrapped up in that, I don't know what that is, that foil or something to kind of keep warm. I don't know. I've never been a runner like that, so I admire everybody's. Hey, just to get up that early is an accomplishment.
I know, like foil will keep a baked potato warm.
All right.
Put the foil around the baked potatoes.
I don't know if people and baked potatoes have a lot in common.
There's somewhere.
Okay. Tim Adelman, first Major League Plate appearance, put it in play.
Easy.
Nice barehanded play by Locke, but he didn't tag the bag.
That defensively was kind of messed up from the very beginning. Locke got a real late break.
Has to go back. That was good, and that was tough. Now, whose ball is that? Is that first base or second base?
Well, the second baseman could have easily handled it. For me, myself, I never had a problem with the first baseman taking anything he could. I was a right-hand pitcher and could easily get to the bag. Didn't bother me at all to do that. In fact, I would much prefer the first baseman taking a ball that he didn't really need to and throwing it to me than have him go to the bag and having a ball just barely miss the second baseman's glove and roll out in the right field.
After the error on Locke, he gets the double play, no big deal. Jeff Locke is cruising through 3. No score. Hey, stay tuned after the game for Inside Pirates Baseball. And on this week's episode, Starling Marte cranks up the radar guns. Plus, everyone loves a good blooper reel. I'm sure we're on that somewhere. Bringing you the best of the spring training outtakes. Inside Pirates Baseball, presented by Allegheny Health Network. Today after postgame, right here on Root Sports. There's a medalist. Pittsburgh Marathon held today downtown.
Runner of steel.
Nice job.
Let's go, Bucks.
Wow, that's a, you go run 26.2 and then maybe drink 26.2 ounces of your favorite beverage here.
Got to rehydrate after a long race.
That's right. Gateway Clipper. Here on the Allegheny, and a beautiful day it's turned out to be. I mean, we thought it's going to rain all day today. And the clouds starting to burn off, and it has been nice out here. Nice and spring-like. Probably about, what, 70 degrees or so. Jordy Mercer getting his first look. I'll tell you, I really like these Pirates uniforms, these new throwbacks for this year. 1979 models.
Maybe they should have brought out the whole batch.
Oh, that's a lot of different things to look at.
We would have never known what they were going to wear every Sunday.
And did you ever wear the yellow tops? I think they got rid of the black pants by the time you were a Pirate, but
No, we had.
they still had a black pants?
My first year, they had. Well, we had all black, all
they still
yellow,
had that. Okay.
and all white. And then you mix up any different combination. The only one they didn't have was the pinstripes.
Okay.
They had done away with the pinstripes.
It's a foul ball.
And to be honest with you, I can't ever remember wearing. I don't know if we ever, that first year, if I ever wore the all black uniform. Right?
It would have to be at night.
It was there. Yeah. Well, we had it like, you could wear black top with whatever color pants, or the black pants, whatever color top. But I don't think we ever wore just the black pants and top together.
Otto's going to have a play on this one.
Now, I'm not saying we didn't, but I just can't recall. And we didn't wear the all yellow very often either.
Well, you guys had taste.
Well, it wasn't up to us. It was just whatever they had hanging in the locker that day.
It's fun to bring it back.
Brownie knows. He told me one time who made that decision, but I can't remember now. Somebody in the front office. Brownie knows who it was.
He knows everything, doesn't he?
Yes, he does. When it comes to the Pirates, he knows all the facts.
Chris Stewart.
I was sitting at his desk earlier today trying to look at some of his research material so I could know some facts also.
He's got every media guide back into the 50s.
Well, I was sitting at his desk, and right there in the very front, the first thing I was looking at was a 1954 little pamphlet for the
press guide or whatever.
For spring training.
Oh, okay.
It was for spring training. They had the train schedules that they were going to be on for leaving Pittsburgh and coming back, and had all that stuff. It had a picture of the ballpark that they played at on the back of it. Had dirt roads leading to it.
Times have changed. And our day automotive this day in baseball history. Let's go back again. How about to 1974? Bucks losing to the Reds 5-3. Doc Ellis started that game, and he wanted to intimidate a little bit, so he plunked Pete Rose to lead off the game. Then he hit Joe Morgan. He hit Dan Dreesen. Then he ended up walking Tony Perez only because Perez was able to duck and dodge a few pitches. Then Danny Murtaugh said, that's enough. Oh, Doc Ellis.
There's a few stories about Doc that you're like, what? And that was one of them.
Very colorful figure.
Now the legend is that he told them all before the game that he was going to.
Went into the clubhouse.
He hit everybody that came to the plate.
Said we need to fire up our team a little bit. Nothing personal. but you're all getting hit. Again, my, how times have changed. Locke is out. And how about Tim Adelman, his big league debut? He's faced the minimum through 3. 4th coming up. It's still zip.
Let's go Bucks.
It's time for the Toyota RAV4th inning. The all-wheel drive RAV hybrid has performance that will make you rethink hybrid. Let's go Bucks!
4th inning here from PNC Park on our UPMC scoreboard. Pirates and Reds, 0-0. Arr. Is that on the rotunda?
Yeah. Yep. Oh yeah. It's a renegade.
I've got it. You know, the next time if we have a day that we don't televise, I'm going to go up there and
hang out with him. You got a dress?
Well, this is about as dressed up as I think I can.
No, you can find some piratey looking stuff.
Yeah.
You can't stand there unless you.
I don't look like a pirate. I'm not very imposing, to say the least.
Oh, I think you're very imposing.
Pitch one out.
You can look piratey.
Jeff Locke's looking piratey today. He's given up just 1 hit. And this Pirate pitching, you know, has been pretty solid here. Last maybe couple turns now around in the rotation.
Now the one for sure has been very, very solid. Kind of the one that started the. No, maybe with Locke. Locke's 6 shutout innings.
And ahead on Votto, 2 strikes. He struck out Votto last time. He struck out the other lefty in Bruce.
We were having some problems in Arizona.
That's a tough place to pitch. Same thing with Colorado. And
then Colorado, that's kind of where, strangely enough, especially the last couple of games there, it started to pick up a little bit better.
Strike 3 call. Well, this doesn't include Locke today already, but look, yeah, the last couple of times around in the rotation, the ERA just over 3. Hey, that'll do. Walks are way down. Pirates had been leading baseball in walks.
Need to get the innings per start. Need to push that up still a little bit further. Get it up into the 6s, and we'll be in good shape.
We've seen back-to-back starters go into the 7th. Locke, the way that he's going, headed that way. 42 pitches with 2 outs here in the 4th. Throwing strikes. You know, he has struck out the 3 lefties that he's faced, Votto twice and Bruce. He has not allowed an extra base hit to a lefty this year. And you say, well, of course, a lefty should do better against lefties, right? But Locke had reverse splits last year. I mean, they were able to hit pretty well against him. And this year so far, he's able to limit the lefties a lot better too. It's not just throwing away to righties, I guess. The lefties too. He's having some success.
Yeah, I mean, anytime you get better command of your pitches, it doesn't matter who's up there. You're going to do better against them. And I think that breaking ball has a lot to do with it when you're pitching to whichever type of hitters are hitting from the same side you're throwing from.
Yeah, lefty's actually a better career average. Last year, hitting .298 against him.
I don't know if this is true for everybody, but I think it's kind of a rule of thumb. When if I see that, it tells me that the changeup is a better off-speed pitch than the breaking ball. When I see anybody, not Locke, but anybody that pitches better against, righty on lefty or lefty on righty.
Harrison. Flock. 9-pitch inning. He's given up just 1 hit through 4 scoreless. The bottom of the 4th inning, and paint your next masterpiece tomorrow at PNC Park with Paint Monkey. Enjoy a pregame painting session on the Miller Lite rooftop, and then catch the Bucks and the Cubs at 7:05. Go to pirates.com/paintmonkey. Brush is not included. No, I don't know. I'm sure they have a brush for it. Come on out. Cubs, first chance to see them. Pirates hot on their tails.
Be finger painting if there was no brushes.
Yeah, maybe it is finger painting. I don't know. I have never partook in such a thing, so
I'll have to do a little research on this.
Let us know what you come up with.
See what this entails.
I'm excited to see the Cubs. The Pirates.
Like a monkey tail.
Yeah. Well, there you go. Pirates 3 back of the Cubs, who are off to the best start in the league, and the Pirates off to their best start in terms of winning percentage in the first month of the season since the last time they won the division back in '92. So Clint Hurdle wanting that fast start, and he's gotten it.
Yep, absolutely. This is what's been missing. And I mean, the years at the end of the year, you can just kind of point. Well, we're a couple games short of the division. We're getting a wild card invite, but never winning the division. And you kind of look back. Well, at the beginning of the season, we didn't have such a good start. If we would just a little bit better. Well, this year they have the good start, so maybe this is going to be the year.
5th best record in all of baseball through the first month of the year. That's helped to have a 6-game winning streak too. Pirates have won 7 of 8. Really doing well on that road trip. It's been a very road heavy schedule to start. And then Phillips.
Nice play by Phillips. Once he made the catch, no panic from the veteran. Collected himself, and nice easy toss over to first base. Knew he had plenty of time to make that play.
Now Andrew McCutchen, strikeout victim, back of the first. Tim Adelman making his major league debut. Adelman has faced the minimum here through the first 10. And 4 years ago tried out for the Florence Freedom, an independent team just down I-75 from the Reds. And Fran Riordan, who was the manager at that time, said, we don't have a spot for you just yet, but maybe you can try with a different independent team. He had been an A-ball with the Orioles and got released and couldn't even hook on with an affiliated team until the Reds gave him a chance 2 years ago. Now in the big leagues today. So he couldn't make the team in Florence, Kentucky, but now he's made the Reds.
Yeah, 3 years ago he was playing the independent ball somewhere in New Jersey, wasn't he?
Yeah, the Jackals.
Jackals. I like that name.
He played for the Diablos, the Salt Dogs, and the Jackals. 2-1. Breaking ball doesn't break. And that's a lot of perseverance.
He's got a collection of nice hats.
Now, the Diablos don't exist anymore. They moved out when a new affiliated team came in there. 3-1. Full on McCutchen. And having worked in independent baseball, most of the guys there, they're a long way away. They're either like Adelman, had a brief sniff in affiliated ball trying to get back. McCutchen will work the walk. Some guys that maybe played some college ball or trying to get an extended look.
Watching the release there, looked like a changeup that he messed up stairs with.
So McCutchen aboard. This is the first time that Adelman has worked with a base runner on. He gave up a hit to Polanco, but Polanco was thrown out trying to extend it to a double. So we'll see if this changes his rhythm at all. Harrison working on a 9-game hitting streak. He's in that 3 spot today. David Freese getting a day off. Now 1-1. Harrison off to that great start. Average at .330, second among second basemen in baseball in batting average. A month into the season. Adelman out of Georgetown. Grew up in North Carolina. And already the 8th different starting pitcher used by the Reds this year. They've now got 5 starters on the DL. Really the 5 that they hope to start the season with. That's not easy to overcome.
No, it's not. It's going to be a problem for him.
I should exclude Homer Bailey.
It has been a problem for him.
I should exclude Homer Bailey because he had Tommy John surgery. They weren't expecting him to start the year, but clearly when he's healthy and he's on rehab right now, he would be in that rotation, leading it.
Yeah, they're a team that's trying to rebuild themselves, transform. They've tried to make some even more changes than they have been made.
They tried to trade Phillips a couple times in the offseason, from what we understand.
Called.
He's able to veto any trade because of his. I can't remember now. It's either
the 10-5.
Is he a 10-5 guy? I didn't know if he was 10-5 or
10 years of big league service time, 5 consecutive with the same club. One-two. Gonna miss. So 4 strikeouts for Adelman. Tough time trying to solve the guy that hadn't really been on many guys' radar. Was invited to Red spring training this year. But it doesn't, you know, I mean, these days they got all these prospect lists and people talk about guys before they ever throw a big league pitch, but Adelman not in that group.
Oh, when you're 28 years old, you've probably already passed through the prospect stage, and now everybody has you pigeonholed as a guy that's just trying to hang on, and then maybe you're going to be a plan C. Probably not even a plan B. Well, the opportunity has come now, finally. Even at 28 years old, with the problems that they've had with finding starters. Pitched very well here this afternoon. If he can continue it, maybe he earns himself another shot, and who knows where this could possibly lead to. We have seen guys come up in their very late 20s and stick and end up getting at least somewhat of a career.
And really some late notice too for Adelman. Iglesias still penciled in as late as yesterday. Ahead 0-2 on Marte. And so he hasn't even allowed a runner in scoring position today. This Pirates offense coming into play today, on pace to set the all-time record for base runners in a season. So leading the league in batting average, on base percentage. And a good pickoff move.
Quick tag by Votto made that close.
Two. Yeah, and in fact, let's take a look. This will be pitch number 60. Still very efficient for Adelman. Now 2-2. Yeah, the Pirates finishing April with the highest on base percentage of any team in baseball in the last 7 years for any month. So quite the offensive display here in the early going. Another close play. Brian Price seeing how close the other one was. Oh, he just missed.
If he would have tagged him, he was out. Missed the tag.
Still getting a daring lead over there. McCutchen has stolen 1 base, been thrown out twice. Two. And Marte, the 5th strikeout victim from Tim Adelman today. We're scoreless through 4. Pirates nothing, Reds nothing on our UPMC scoreboard. Jeff Locke pitching very, very well. He's permitted just one hit. Look at our Point Park tweets. Joel, Locke just needs the mustache today.
He definitely has the hair. Got that flowing.
John Candelaria, yeah, a lefty with some flowing locks. You just have the mustache, if you know.
I think he might need another 6 or 7 inches too in height.
Yeah, he doesn't have access to the same things we have.
No, that's true.
Jay Bruce will start things. I say we're able to just think really hard.
And you just grow hair anytime you want it.
Just on Sundays. I don't know why.
And
but
just on your lip.
Just here on Sundays.
Oh, that's right. You had a full head of hair a couple Sundays ago.
Yeah, I had to cut it. You know.
Yeah, that was looking a little raggedy. I
just grew it out for the theme day. I don't look like John Candelaria, but between me and Jeff Locke, I think maybe we could pull off the look.
I certainly think that you just got to get that
now
little stash going.
Rick's got the chops. One of my favorite people at PNC Park. Always back there behind home plate. Always easy to spot. He's got all his cool uniforms on.
Yeah, he's got them all.
He's matching today. Payoff pitch. And he strikes out Jay Bruce. He's faced Votto and Bruce 4 times. He struck him out 4 times.
Fastball got a little movement on it. Kind of moved in off the plate just a little bit.
Now Suarez, good career numbers against Locke coming in, but able to bounce out back in the second. Working on 10+ scoreless in a row now after that last start. Sometimes you don't need location if you get them fooled, right?
That's right. Set up a pitch. Well, it's kind of a, a little bit of a, well, I'll put it like this. You see a lot of pitchers sometimes that they'll throw a good game and then lose 1-0. They say, oh, I made one bad pitch today. No.
I made one mistake.
Not what happens. Go back, watch the video. There's a whole bunch of pitches that are in the middle of the plate that don't get hit for home runs. It's just a little bit of a misconception that you can't throw a ball in the middle of the plate in the big league. You can.
Right into the shift.
You just don't want to live there.
Jeff Locke has given up 1 hit. Hard ground ball doubled by Hamilton right up the third base line in the first inning. That's been it.
Looking back at that at bat at the strike zone, there were 2 pitches that really were in the heart of the strike zone. So there's 2 pitches that were in the middle part of the plate, and one was really elevated, as a matter of fact. It's still a strike, but the upper part of the strike zone, right down the middle, that you didn't get hurt on. But like I said, if you think you can live there in the middle of the plate, that's not going to work. But you can go there occasionally.
Adam Duvall flied out his first time. Hazy sunshine today. Some of the hitters with sunglasses on. Jeff Locke. Another tidy inning. He has sent down 7 in a row and has shut out the Reds through 5. 3-0 score, the Pirates and the Reds. Pirates going for the sweep here this afternoon. Take a look at our Nissan road ahead, and the Cubs coming to town. Garrett Cole will go against the undefeated Jason Hamilton. Jake Arrieta 5-0 against the also undefeated.
Be the battle of the beards, one.
And then Lester Nicasio in a day affair on Wednesday. Great baseball coming up here at PNC Park.
All 6 pitchers sporting beards.
There was a time where these Reds would not allow facial hair.
No facial hair whatsoever.
It's why the Hall of Famer Raleigh Fingers retired.
There was an exception. They made an exception. I want to say it was for Bobby Tolan, I believe.
In the 70s?
Early 70s.
I do not know of this.
I believe they made an exception for him.
Well, Greg Vaughn was the one that finally broke it up. He insisted he's going to wear a goatee in 1999, and Art Schott relented after that. But yeah, about 30 years. This one hit a long way to right, and there it goes! Out of the ballpark, Gregory Polanco puts the Pirates up 1-0.
That one is down sleeping with the fishes, maybe.
That's a beautiful thing to watch. Third home run. And they finally solved Tim Adelman.
There it is. It's not sleeping with the fishes yet, but it's talking to him. It's floating there in the Allegheny. I always love to watch the stands and see the people on the top row. They turn their backs to the field because they want to see if it gets the river. And then you know it's going to be a real long one.
First one to reach the river this year. And the first one since Pedro Alvarez did it in July for the Pirates. Now that broke back right over the middle of the plate.
Yeah, see, that's why you can't ever throw one down the middle.
That's a thing of beauty. Jerome following that one beautifully.
It's like it got held up in the mulch there just for a second, and then it broke out and got in the water.
Way to stay on it, Gregory. Way to stay on it, Jerome.
Yeah, that was excellent camera work.
So now Tim Adelman indoctrinated to the major leagues, and Polanco, a smile as wide as the Allegheny. Mercer is the second out. I got a souvenir.
No, they're all going to turn. They look at the river. Where did that land? Is it wet?
Did it make it? Yes.
We saw one last year land in a boat.
About where?
One of the ones that Pedro hit in the water landed in a boat.
Oh, I thought you were using your Canadian accent there. I couldn't quite figure out what you were saying there. That's a pretty good shot to do at that.
The next day we did our little skit, pregame skit, the Open. We did it from the boat that the home run landed into. Got in touch with the owners. They said, yeah, sure, come on out.
I like that. Now today it only landed in the water, so I guess we'll have to get our floaties out tomorrow.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, I'm not on TV tomorrow. Oh, good luck, Greg Brown. 2-1 on Stewart. That home run estimated at 419 feet on StatCast. Now 3-1. "39 times the ball has reached the river since we opened up shop in '01. full on Stewart, 3-2. Adelman ready, 3-2. And they work the walk. So a couple of walks for the Pirates today. They've only managed 4 base runners against Adelman. Now we'll see as we start to get third time around the order coming up after Locke. What's he got? Locke bounced out back in the third.
As you were pointing out yesterday, you'd love to get into this bullpen. So, got to do it. Got to get in there.
Yeah, the ERA over 6, highest ERA in baseball. And you know, Clint Hurdle pointed out this, you know, these days guys throw so hard out of the bullpen. Why would you want to get into the bullpen? Well, the idea is you get into the bullpen because you probably have a lead if you're getting into the bullpen early, and then you're facing their second tier relievers, not their first tier relievers, and you're leading in the game. So that's the whole philosophy, is get that starter out of the game as soon as you can. You probably have a lead and you're facing their second tier guys. Just missed, 2-2. Locke down on strikes, but the Pirates on the board thanks to a leadoff home run from Gregory Polanco. Drink up into the Allegheny. And the Pirates have a 1-0 lead. Gregory Polanco with his third home run of the year ended up getting into the water. When you hit a ball into the water, usually it's a bad thing, right? Golf?
Well, that
Not
was,
here.
You know what that was like watching a golf ball. That's how far it went.
So now Jeff Locke for the first time working with a lead here in this pitcher's duel. An old-fashioned Sunday afternoon. The first day of May. And Locke just keeps on rolling. He has allowed 2 base runners, 1 on an error that he erased on a double play, and a hard ground ball double by Billy Hamilton.
And he just continues to throw the ball wherever Stewart wants it. Stewart gave him an inside target, elevated a little bit as he gave the sign with his bare hand. He kind of said, you know, get it up a little above the belt. And that's where he put it. Now, to this point of the game, this will be a ball game that Locke will really enjoy watching again. Anytime he should save this one. 'Cause he really can do anything that he is being asked to do at this point. It's just a good changeup, following the glove all over the place with that fastball. Here comes the changeup. Oh.
And
Hitter's way out in front.
And I am really impressed with this command is coming with increased velocity on the fastball too.
Yeah, he's got really good stuff also to mix in with this. We saw the same thing with Liriano. Liriano was throwing 95. His best velocity of the year.
It's out of the reach of Jaso. The Reds with their second hit today.
You got 2 games in a row where your pitchers are showing their best velocity of the season, along with some excellent command.
Barnhart with a leadoff double in the 6th. Not a bad pitch.
Yeah, hitting in the right spot, right down the chalk line.
Doesn't that make you more impressed when you think about a no-hitter or a perfect game?
Well, yeah, there's a lot of talent to be able to do that, but there's also an awful lot of luck involved, unless you strike everybody out. But when balls get put in play anywhere, you know, there's so many holes out there in the infield. There's so many areas in the outfield where nobody's playing. Anything can fall in. That's why those no-hitters should be cherished. It's so difficult. Perfect games. Wow.
Oh. Trying to move the runner over, and now 2 strikes on Adelman. Perfect game. 27 up, 27 down. Not anybody getting on base. Not an error, not a walk, not a hit batter, nothing. And he strikes out. So a big first out as he can't move over Barnhart. Let's take a look at our tweets here. And JB, Grandma just said he's good, referring to Polanco.
Good call, Grandma.
Rhoda's got it figured out.
She should be a scout.
Very good evaluation tools from Rhoda. Polanco hitting the drink, the Allegheny. Just clearing the grandstands and right. That's why the Pirates are on the board. Zach Cozart 1 for 11 in the series, coming in hitting at .390 plus. Locke trying to work around the leadoff double. Locke was able to work around a 1-out double in the first. Otherwise, I think he's had what maybe since that time, maybe 1 or 2 pitches that he's thrown with a man on base. That's it. Before he got that double play to end the 3rd. Hasn't needed more than 15 pitches to complete any inning. That's going to change probably here. It was his 13th of the frame. Hamilton next, and then Votto. And he walks Cozart. You look at Pirates starting pitchers. That's the first walk for Locke. Liriano did not walk a batter last night. Nicasio, one walk over 7 innings on Friday.
We're getting into the part of the ball game now with this 1-run lead. You got to be more and more careful because it's getting later with pitching, especially with a man in scoring position. And I think that was what was going on there with that at bat. That talked about you get in the middle of the plate occasionally, but as you get late in a ball game, especially a 1-run ball game, well, that occasionally needs to be never. Then you have to start making just perfect pitches, and that's where you end up walking somebody, and you hope it's in a position where you have a base open and you're kind of pitching around somebody with maybe a weaker hitter on deck, which is the case here. Doesn't always work out for you. Sometimes that weaker hitter hits a gap shot and then you're kicking yourself, but you have to try and make the perfect pitches when you get later in the ball game, when the game is close. That's why that job of a late inning bullpen guy can be so difficult.
And hit just foul. That was almost like his double that he hit in the first inning. Right up that third base line.
Starting pitcher early in the ball game, you got some room for error. You can bend a little bit as long as you don't break, but now you're getting in the part of the game where if you bend too much, you might lose. Hamilton thought maybe he had one there.
Rodriguez going to guard the line a little bit more at third now. And he almost got there because of it. And that foul ball. Yeah, anything that's going to be hit up the line now, Rodriguez is saying, all right, we've seen enough from Hamilton trying to yank that inside pitch.
He's throwing some off-speed stuff, but he hasn't been able to get it away from him. He's throwing those off-speed stuff down and in, and that's why he's giving him an opportunity to put one over the bag. When he throws the slow stuff, he needs to keep that away. And then you're going to get that ground ball hopefully to the shortstop instead of down the chalk line.
It's a key part in the game. This is the first time either pitcher's worked with 2 men on. And we talked the other day about the chicken and the egg. Well, it's interesting. Is Locke pitching well because he hasn't had men on too? He's pitching well.
Well, that's about.
But you can keep the rhythm because you don't have any.
We're talking about guys that working fast, got the good pace going.
Little flare in the left, and Marte plays it safe.
Got to force out.
He's got to play it third, and they force him out. Another outfield assist for Starling Marte.
I don't think Marte realized he had this at first.
Well, it's so unusual. Barnhart didn't know what to do.
No, he thinks it might fall in, so he starts back, and then he falls. He stumbles, and that cost him.
That's a huge out. Leads the league with 4 outfield assists. There's Marte. Now first and second with 2 outs for Votto. Cozart coming home, and he'll be in. And the Reds have tied it. Joey Votto with his first hit today.
Votto been taking an awful lot of pitches. This time with guys in scoring position, he comes up here and very aggressive, swinging on the first pitch. Took a fastball on the outside half of the plate. Really wasn't on the corner. And even though he rolled over on it and put it in the ground, it was up the middle enough that he got the hit.
Marte doesn't make that play. It was bases loaded, 1 out. And then he hits that ball. That could have been a heap of trouble. So Marte right now, it looks like, saved a run. Trying to keep it knotted at 1. Here's Brandon Phillips. Runner goes, and no throw from Stewart. Joey Votto with his first steal standing up.
I can't imagine when you would ever make a throw to second base with Hamilton the go-ahead run down at third.
Hamilton would probably score by the time the ball sailed over Locke's head.
Votto was pretty sure that he could have just walked down there.
That's a smart baseball play. And now he'd elect to face Jay Bruce. So they'll bypass Phillips with first base open. The bullpen's going to get active. Locke has struck out Bruce both times, and now Archimedes Caminero getting active. That play at third still looming big. An intentional walk. So Locke had been absolutely cruising. I got to make some big pitches right here. 1-1 game in the sixth. Remember, the Pirates have Jarrett Hughes back. He is yet to pitch this season, and Clint Hurdle has said that he would like to use him in a clean inning in his first couple of outings or so to get him back at him. Swing and a miss.
It's almost the identical pitch he struck him out with last time up. Fastball kind of tailing in a little bit off the plate.
They struck him out both times today. But stopped by Stewart. Pirates just taking the lead on the home run by Polanco in the bottom of the fifth. Reds with a pair of hits and a walk here in the sixth. And that's going to play to pair. Brewers heading for two. He'll score. Here comes Phillips, and he is out. The Reds, though, get a pair on the double. 3-1 Cincinnati. A couple of outs on the bases, but the Reds score 3 to take the lead here in the sixth.
Bruce ends up hitting the fastball that he'd been missing today, that ball that's tailing in on him, and it made enough adjustments so where didn't miss this one, got it right on the head of the bat. And then a good job by Polanco getting it quickly off the wall, hits the cutoff man, and Jay Hay, nice throw to the plate. A little high, but Stewart able to get up. He's too tall for a catcher, and able to make the tag apparently. Kind of surprised they didn't challenge that. Did it look like he was tagged?
Very close. And Price thought about it for a long time between innings, but eventually said no.
Maybe that's this view here, but perhaps you see the contact. Yeah. And I think I saw the kind of like the back of his hand almost got him.
Jaso is out number 1 here in the 6th, and Tim Adelman just keeps on rolling.
Red bullpen up with action before he threw the first pitch this inning. They might have him on a very short leash now.
A chance for his first big league win and the Reds' first win in a week. Blake Wood, the former Pirate farmhand, cranking it up. Things can change quickly. And it's been an admirable job for Adelman, considering Pirates offense 4th best in baseball in terms of scoring runs. Off balance so all afternoon so far. And again, that Reds bullpen has they've allowed at least one earned run in 18 straight games.
Nothing. The Reds didn't do anything through 5 innings. And then the 6th, they're able to get something going.
Starter starts to tire, maybe.
That might be the recipe here for the Pirates. Same thing.
There's this pitch.
Middle of the plate, the knees.
2-1. Hit well, and Hamilton able to haul a lot down in center field.
Oh, he made a great read on that off the bat. That the toughest balls for a center fielder is that line drive. And as soon as I looked at him, he looked like he was moving backwards. Yeah, you can see there what a good jump he got.
Long-time middle infielder in the minor leagues, and
Catch knows he hit that one well.
not a lot of guys with that kind of speed in center field. He's a notch ahead. Took on for Harrison, who's trying to extend that hitting streak, trying to extend this inning. 3-1 Reds. Pirates coming in winners of 6 straight. The Reds losers of 6 straight. And the Reds throwing out an emergency starter, Tim Adelman. 3 years ago was playing independent baseball, making his big league debut. And he's got another 1, 2, 3 inning. Tim Adelman stymieing the Bucks through 6.
Pirates Baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by Kenny Ross, Total Confidence Pricing, and by Levin Furniture, the official furniture and mattress supplier to the Pittsburgh Pirates. For the best quality, service, and value, shop Levin's. Let's go Bucks!
Third straight game, a Pirates starter has pitched into the 7th. Jeff Locke facing Eugenio Suarez. Hit this in 2 trips. See if Locke can rebound after that 3-run 6th. He's pitched so well, and then ran into a little trouble in that 6th inning. That big 2-out, 2-run double by Jay Bruce, the difference maker. Freeman on that left side, and Mercer able to retire Suarez. A good outing for Locke, even with that hiccup in the 6th.
Oh, absolutely. Excellent outing for him.
What a rare day so far where the Pirates have been quieted with the bats.
Yep.
Pirates haven't scored less than 4 runs in a game since last Saturday. 4 would be good enough. That's what they'll need today. Now Locke ahead 2 strikes. I like to see this rebound inning from Locke. Hey, you give 3 runs over 7. If that's what it ends up being today, then it's an awfully good afternoon. Out in front. And Polanco gets the second out pretty quickly.
Love to see those 7-inning outings.
You can save big on Pirates tickets with your Dick's Sporting Goods scorecard. Save up to $10 on tickets for Monday through Thursday home games. Also get your tickets at pirates.com/scorecard.
So rally peanuts.
Kids, don't try this at home. Barnhart, the leadoff double that started that 3-run 6th. I hope he shelled the peanuts before eating them. Shot to third, Rodriguez. And that'll allow the inning to continue.
Had plenty of time. He got set up. He took a little bit of a crow hop and missed the mark by quite a bit with that throw. Got to the line nicely. There's the little hop, kind of gathered himself, and the ball just didn't realize it, but not only was it very wide, it was going to be very short too. It bounced way out in front.
Second error of the game.
My guess is he didn't stay behind that one very well. I think he came off, threw a cutter across the diamond.
So Barnhart ends up at second again. And Tim Allenman's going to get a 3rd at bat. 88 pitches through 6 innings, giving up just the home run to Polanco. So if Tim Adelman was told that in his big league debut he's going to bat in the 7th inning, I'm sure he would have taken that every time.
Kind of shows you there's not a lot of faith in that bullpen, don't you think?
Makes sense to me.
I think most of the time in this scenario, you'll see managers go for that insurance run. instead of letting a young rookie pitcher hit in the top of the 7th. Maybe not a lot of confidence in going to that pen and holding on to a 2-run lead. Maybe even a 3-run lead if you did get the insurance.
Locke bounces back strong. Time to stretch on a Sunday afternoon in Pittsburgh. America here at PNC Park.
And now here to lead us with God Bless America is Sean Fink.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies to the oceans white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home.
It's time for the 7th-inning stretch.
A wonderful rendition.
Park Smiley Cookie. And join everyone watching at home on Root Sports as we sing Take Me Out to the Ball Game.
One of the best traditions here on a Sunday at PNC Park. Jeff Locke, 102 pitches through 7 innings. Has pitched well, a quality start. Club in the ball game, but needing to figure out Tim Adelman.
They need to give him a little more support from the run department was all. But you know, sometimes, well, all the time, you can't really worry about that. You got to do your job, and he did that.
Let's take you back through the game now, and the Reds, that 2-run double by Bruce in the 6th. Tim Adelman in his major league debut. Gregory Polanco with both hits off of him. Yeah, just 2 through 6 innings. He's back out for the 7th. Guy who was told yesterday that he would be starting for sure.
Think he might get another one.
Well, it depends on how this one turns out.
He hadn't earned another one yet, you don't think? 6 innings, 2 hits.
Well, yeah,
1 run.
Iglesias is on the DL. They need somebody. Got a lot of guys coming off soon, though. But he has definitely opened the eyes, I'm sure. So far, thwarting this tough offense. 1-2 on Marte.
We're talking a lot about Locke's command. Adelman throwing the ball pretty much where he wants to most of the time. Also, he's got a decent arm, but you wouldn't call him a stuff guy.
And Phillips trying to leap to make that throw, and Marte is aboard.
Ball wasn't hit very hard.
Great shots from our Allegheny Health Network Supermo.
Like Phillips had plenty of time, but he just couldn't find the handle. When he wants to take it out of his glove, he just dropped it.
Give Marte a base hit. And that's it. Tim Adelman in his big league debut can win it. He can't lose it. And we'll take a break here with the Pirates down 3-1 in the 7th. In the 7th, and just a reminder, as you enjoy a cold one, look forward to Miller time later in the game, brought to you by Miller Lite. Last time we saw Gregory Polanco at the bat, the Allegheny was stirred. It hit the drink and made Adelman think. And now he's gone after Polanco 2 for 2 against him. Marte reaching on the infield hit.
Zingrani's numbers on the season. I think the Reds are kind of kicking themselves for not pinch hitting last inning with a runner at second base. Chance to add another run.
And then they remove Adelman, one batter into the
they're
7th.
going to take Adelman out immediately if somebody gets on. Let him face
unorthodox maneuver.
Let him face just one hitter. Out.
Marte can run over there and almost picked off.
That was close.
Base runners have been hard to come by.
It's been a couple of times. I think if they would have had a left-handed first baseman, they'd had a couple outs. The right-hand first baseman, it takes a little extra time to get that tag down.
Polanco is the tying run here with the 7th. Now ahead in the count, 2-1. Brownie was able to strike out Polanco yesterday. This Reds bullpen, they have given up at least a run in the last 18 straight games. So highest ERA in baseball for a bullpen. Can the Pirates crack the code?
Hasn't been much of a code so far this year to crack. Numbers are taped on the dial.
Well, he strikes out Polanco for the second straight day.
Threw that fastball right by him, kind of the middle of the plate, but a little above the belt.
Marte with 7 steals. Sean Rodriguez. This one hit well into the corner. And this one is going to do extra bases. Duval almost got there. Marte is in to score. Rodriguez is standing at third with an RBI triple, and the Pirates have the tying run 90 feet away here in the 7th.
Well, Duvall really went into that wall hard. He gave up his body to try and make that catch. Everybody looking out at him, make sure he's okay. I mean, this is head first into the padding.
That was one incredible effort by Duvall. And that was the only shot that they had at even coming up with something there. Wow. Triple for Rodriguez. The run assessed to Adelman. Now a sac fly can tie it.
It's going to be an inside the park home run if Hamilton hadn't raced over there and helped out his left fielder.
Duvall seems to be okay. Everybody coming all the way out deep left field corner to make sure. That was an admirable effort, to say the least. If he makes that catch, that's probably the greatest catch we've seen all year in baseball. I didn't even think he was going to be able to get to that ball.
Well, even if he would have got to it and got his glove on it, then he was going to have to hold on to it after he crashed into that wall. That would have been another difficult part of making that play. But he had to make the decision, I think, a little earlier about, now do I throw on the brakes and, you know, and hold up and then try to play the ball off the wall, or do I try and make that catch? And in his mind, I think he just thought, I could do this. And he went for it.
If he plays it off the wall, what do you think? Double RBI still? With Marte running?
Yeah,
Marte
can
scores,
really
right?
fly, yeah.
Average runner, you might hold him at third, though.
Well, you might hold him at third because of how many outs there are.
Right.
You know, that goes into it. With 2 outs, there's no question he's going to score on that. But now with 1 out, you know, Marte can't just take off running as fast as he can. He's got to hold up a little bit to make sure the ball's not caught. When he sees Duvall hold up to play it off the wall, now it releases him to take off running. And then, you know, you also, you know, have to decide whether you take a chance with 1 out and score him, or do you want to, you know, you got a chance to score him with a sac fly. They're not going to bring the infield in with the tying run at second base. They're going to play the infield back. So just a ground ball in the infield will score him also. So how much of a risk do you take sending him with 1 out? So, I mean, there's a lot of thought that would have had to gone into that from both sides. But with Duvall trying to catch the ball, that kind of took everything out of play. Then it became just do or die.
Duvall's going to stay in the game. Crew Chief Ted Barrett out there with manager Brian Price, and
tough guy.
Reds athletic trainers going through the concussion protocol.
You know, a lot of guys were just laid there. He gets up and he's looking for the ball. He wants to make a play. He doesn't know what's happened, and until he sees Hamilton pick up the ball, that's when he finally kind of relaxed a little bit and went to his hands to his knees.
Cingrani couldn't believe the effort that Duvall gave. Glad he's okay. And now the tying run right there, 90 feet away. Rodriguez at third with one out.
Now the infield does have to come in and play on the grass.
Base hit, deep fly ball. The Pirates get the runs back.
He needs to get 2 more here and give Locke a shot at a W. The way he's pitched.
Jordy Mercer 0 for 2. Stewart to follow, then it would be Locke's spot, but I don't think Locke is going to pitch the 8th no matter what. 102 pitches. There he is. Cingrani behind 2-0. Now Cingrani was sitting out there waiting for Duvall to be tended to, so he's got a bit of a respite standing out on the mound. A great time for Mercer to extend his hitting streak. He's hit lefties so well, not only this year, but since he's come up. One of the best in baseball at hitting left-handed pitching.
Makes you wonder why they don't set up a double play with Stewart coming up with a guy who hits lefties at 375 and well over 300 for his lifetime average.
Yeah, close to 330 lifetime. Cingrani was able to get him to fly out yesterday. Stewart to follow does not run well. Well, maybe they just pitched around him there. Well, now they can try to turn the double play, and Brian Price has the man that he likes warming up in the bullpen for that. So 1-run game here. The Pirates with the winning run aboard here in the 7th. Another pitching change.
The telecast is presented by the authority of the Pittsburgh Pirates and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Pittsburgh Pirates.
It's turned out to be a beautiful Sunday afternoon here in Pittsburgh. All we need is a couple of runs here, and Caleb Coughlin on to try to prevent that for Cincinnati.
Caleb, 13 games now for the rookie.
So Chris Stewart.
Come on, Stu, be a hero.
Tying run at third. Go ahead run over at first. after Cingrani walked Mercer. Another one of these rookies here on this Red staff. They've had a lot of young pitchers. Tim Adelman today making his major league debut. On a strike. Stewart has struck out and walked today. One. Stopped by Barnhart. Rodriguez and Mercer are the base runners.
And a very nice job by Barnhart. Got down early on that breaking ball in the dirt. Really leaning a long way forward on that, so when the ball came up, hit in the chest, straight back into the ground.
Taking a strike there, evening it at 2-2. Flock could be in line for the win if the Pirates can take the lead here in the 7th. He's not out of the game technically yet, but Matt Joyce out on deck for him. And full 3-2. Jordy Mercer worked the walk, and now the Pirates have Jared Hughes, who would be making his season debut. Caleb Cotham has gone full to the first man he's brought in to face. Mercer running. And that's the second out. Rodriguez not nearly deep enough to score him. And with Locke's spot coming up, Matt Joyce is the choice.
Number 17, Matt Joyce will bat for Locke. Matt Joyce.
Locke, 7 innings, 4 hits, 3 runs all earned, a couple of walks, 6 strikeouts. Right now in line for the loss. That could change with one swing of the bat.
Joyce already this year with 2 pinch hit home runs.
Does not chase, walks a lot, swings in the zone, sees a lot of pitches, and singled off of Cotham last night.
Take a single right now. At least tie the game up. Playing a shift on him. Suarez, the only one left on the left side of the infield.
Well, they bunch up that right side. Outfield pretty much straight up. Cracked his bat.
Sit down, ball. Sit down.
And that'll score the tying run. Another pinch hit single for Matt Joyce, and the Pirates have tied it at 3. Another big hit for Matt Joyce.
Yeah, this one is not going to go in anybody's book as a line drive. It certainly worked fact, it was good that he got jammed and broke his bat because the ball didn't carry. So right in front of the speedy Hamilton. Locke deserved that one to fall in. He pitched too well to get an L this afternoon.
Mercer gets all the way to third.
Still might get the W. One more hit.
Matt Joyce with his 6th pinch hit RBI that leads all of baseball. He's at first. Pirates trying to win their 7th in a row. Joyce on back-to-back nights with a pinch hit single off Caleb Cotham.
No win for Adelman.
Joyce with a 2-run home run, pinch hitting on Friday. Don't see a guy with 3 pinch hits in a 3-game series very often.
Nope. Pirates have a very good bench, though. We may see it again. You know?
1-2.
So it wouldn't surprise me at all.
There just has not been a drop-off when guys are filling in. And here we go, the Reds again with another run allowed here today. And he struck him out. But Pirates get the equalizers. We're tied going into the 8th. Premium, the #1 live streaming sports service, delivers everything you've come to expect and more. Watch every out-of-market game live in high def on more than 400 supported devices, and it includes a free subscription to At Bat Premium. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.tv for details. On our UPMC scoreboard, it looks good. Tied at 3. Matt Joyce with a 2-out RBI single, nodding the score. And for the first time this year, we see Jared Hughes.
Well, you said that they wanted to start a clean inning, not bring him in the middle of anything. He gets to start the clean inning here. And a chance to pick up a W right away, coming in late in this tie game.
Misplayed by Polanco, and that opens the door for the Reds here in the 8th.
Yeah, he thought that one was hit right at him, but it wasn't. He moves over and just kind of he sat up to make the catch, and I think he's surprised right to the moment it goes over his glove. depends so much on the spin of the baseball, how far the ball is going to carry. If you get a ball hit with a lot of backspin, it's just going to take off on you. You get a ball that's knuckling or side spin, or if it's got a little overspin, well then it's all different. You're not going to get that kind of carry.
Is that Cozart
leaving the game?
Yeah. By the way, that's an error on Polanco. Third error for Pirates today. Yeah, kind of hitched right there. Cozart has been battling injury since last season.
We hope that was maybe something to do with a muscle.
Tyler Holt will pinch run.
By that I mean maybe tweaked the hamstring or something like that. So he has had to battle injuries.
So Holt is in at second with nobody out here in the 8th. And the bunt. Only one play, and you have to think fast. So Hamilton in that 2 spot today. That has been normally Suarez's spot. But able to move the runner over. Holt at third with 1 out. Now you got one of the best bat handlers in the game. So what are they going to do? They're going to avoid him. Rather face Brandon Phillips to follow.
Normally Hughes is a ground ball thrower. This is what you're going to want to do. Put Votto over at first base and then try to get Phillips to hit the ground ball. 2 outs at 1 swing and get to the bat rack.
So the intentional walk. Well, try to get a double play ball here and keep it tied. That's what Jared Hughes is known for. One of the best ground ball men last year. 6th best in baseball among all the pitchers with 60 innings or more in getting the ground ball.
And Linfield pinched in now, looking for 2.
This one will get fouled. Phillips has bounced into a double play 1 time. Still runs decent, not quite like he did earlier in his career, but not a routine out over there at first base by any means. We saw Votto already swipe a base today when Hamilton was at third. One from Hughes. Trying to work around that error. 2-base error that allowed Cozart to reach second base. First game of the year for Hughes, who pitched in 4 down in Indy and on a rehab assignment. Looks like the slider sharp.
Yeah, very nice slider right there. And one thing we've seen in the last 3 games, and Phillips is having a little bit of a tough time with the off-speed stuff, especially when it's down, knee high or lower. A lot of swings and misses, mainly on the changeups from the 2 lefties, Locke and Liriano.
Runners at the corners, 1 out. Popped him up.
Won't score anybody.
That's the 2nd out. Holt still at 3rd, and now Hughes gets to see Jay Bruce. Bruce had that 2-out, 2-run double in the 6th. That was off Jeff Locke. Locke will not get a decision today. 3 runs over 7 innings. Tim Adelman of the Reds, 2 runs over 6+ in his major league debut. Also not among those with a decision coming.
There's Hughes. Their velocity way up too. Look at that, 95.
Runners at the corners. An error and an intentional walk to Votto. Votto's running. And now he's hung up. They'll come home. And they drop the ball, and the Reds will take the lead. Holt was able to knock it free and then retouch the plate, and Cincinnati is up.
Now the Pirates really worked this to perfection. Great job by Mercer, keeping his eyes open. Even though those catcher's gloves are hinged nowadays, not like years and years ago. They're still not like a fielder's glove where they'll just swallow up that baseball. Sometimes they can be jarred out.
Tyler Holt steals home.
Yeah, he did the right thing there. He was waiting till he saw the shortstop with the ball running hard toward first base, which now is a difficult play for that shortstop to make. Mercer, in this case, to turn his body and make a quick, accurate throw home. That's what you want to do. That's when you want to run home, is when the shortstop has the ball running hard the other direction.
Now Bruce walks. Well, we're told that it's not going to be a double steal. They're going to assess an error on Stewart for not being able to hold on to the ball. So that takes away the trailing runner's steal when the lead runner doesn't get a stolen base. It's a caught stealing for Holt and an error on Stewart, the 4th error by the Pirates today. And Chris Stewart would probably tell you he thought he would hang on to the ball on that. Otherwise, he wouldn't go in with one hand. He didn't have time to do 2. Pirates defense has been a great component to this team's success here.
I think that's part of the new rule at home plate too. They're trying to they're teaching all the catchers to make sweep tags, but they don't have a glove that's designed to make a sweep tag.
Now 4 errors today, 2 in the inning. Reds don't have a hit in this inning. 2 walks, 2 errors, and the go-ahead run across. And Hughes in his first ball game of the regular year after pitching down on rehab. Pirates have Andrew McCutchen leading off the bottom of the 8th. They're going to need at least 2 more today to keep the winning streak going. 1-2. Rodriguez gets the out. The Reds get a run. They've got a 4-3 lead going to the bottom of the 8th. Bottom of the 8th inning, and Cincinnati relentless with another run. Now up 4-3. Pirates have just tied it. And they can do so again. Andrew McCutchen will start it off. Caleb Cotham. Came on and allowed that 2-out RBI single to Matt Joyce. Ivan DeJesus Jr. taking over for Cozart at short. McCutchen hitless in his last 13. Did draw a walk back in the 4th. Now 2-2. Pirates trying to come from behind and win their 7th straight. Cubs come to town tomorrow night. Broke his bat, base hit. And McCutchen is aboard to start the Pirates' 8th inning.
Not on the end of the bat that will snap a lot of them. Just probably more of them get snapped by balls on the end of the bat than the ones that are in on the label. Well, you love getting some speed on the bases to start off an inning when you're down by 1.
Josh Harrison 0 for 3 today, trying to extend that hitting streak to 10 games. And perhaps bring the tying run across. McCutchen running. Stays out of a double play.
Look out.
And Harrison is out on a good play by Votto at first.
Excellent play by Votto, able to back off the bag and keep his foot in contact.
The Jesus just in the game at short.
Close to throwing that one away. And Jay also a good job. He realized that Votto might be coming off the bag and didn't want to get tagged, so thought there could be a tag play coming up. So he got down.
Great images on our Allegheny Health Network Supermo.
Heads up base running. That running down there looking at the ground. Your eyes up.
Base hit. McCutchen being waved home. Here's the throw. He is safe. And the Pirates tie it up again.
Slider that didn't move much, kind of hung up there. Duvall playing very, very deep, and that kind of opened the door a little bit. Heck of a throw, actually made this a little bit closer than I thought it was going to be. Cut still getting in there easily ahead of the tag.
Polanco. Polanco has homered and singled today. And the righty would rather face the right-handed Rodriguez, who has tripled in a run today. So Polanco, the intentional pass.
It looks like the Reds are going to double switch here.
Ryan Price wants to make another move. And Ross Ollendorf coming on for Cincinnati. The Pirates storming back again, and they have retied it at 4 here in the 8th. Four here in the 8th. Scott Schebler now in left field. Adam Duvall has moved over to right field. Steve Bruce is out. And Ross Ollendorf is in.
Take a look at Ross's numbers. He's doing a really fine job not giving up any hits. Just $1.62.
Making sure the lineup card is correct here. Will Little verify.
Clint called him over to the Pirate dugout at first while Ross was warming up. They had a conversation over there with Clint, and then apparently Clint must have raised some good points, because then he decided to go over and talk to the Reds.
Will Little asking for time here and making sure they got the lineup right. Now Jay Bruce coming out of the game maybe didn't see Duvall moving from left to right there. Now we're set. Sean Rodriguez tripled last inning. Marte with good wheels at second. He's the go-ahead run. And Polanco runs well. He was intentionally passed over at first. Rodriguez already with 15 runs batted in. Beg your pardon, 14. And ahead in the count, 2-1. If the Pirates can take the lead here, if they want to go with Mark Melancon. He's pitched in each of the last 2 nights, but or 3 nights, I should say, 3 games in 4 nights. Only 5 pitches the last 2 games, though, getting 1 out. If they can take the lead, Sean Rodriguez has been good in these clutch situations. Two 2-1.
Gave him a couple of off-speed pitches to hit. The first one he threw, a hanging breaking ball. That one there, I think, was just a changeup. Both of them in the center of the plate. You can see the 1 and the 4.
Two. Got him out in front.
Out in front, and the ball was maybe a little low to boot. Not by much, but a little bit.
Pirates getting a 2-out hit last inning from that choice to tie. Now Mercer tasked with that here in this 4-4 deadlock. Good speed on the bases. Marte the lead runner with Polanco at first. A run across on the run scoring hit by Marte. Chris Stewart would follow. Four in the 8th. Pirates trying to win their 7th in a row. 1-0.
Ross Ollendorf got a good fastball today. How about that one? 97. He's throwing hard.
Former Pirate. Sangrani allowed a run. Cotham has allowed a run and responsible for both men on base. (2-0) and it's 3-0 on Mercer. Pirates open up with a 1-0 lead on Polanco's home run. The Reds with 3 in the 6th off Jeff Locke. The only runs they touched Locke for today in his 7 strong innings. .30 taken all the way and seeing a strike. Ollendorf trying to get the Reds out of this inning. Pirates with 1 across already. Votto get a force on a close play at second. And the Pirates, though, get the tying run thanks to the single by Starling Marte. As we go to the 9th inning, Joey Votto, his defensive wizardry continues.
Yeah, off the bat, I thought that ball was going to get through, and then he was quick to move to his right, make that fine backhand play to keep the ball out of right field, and then just flicks the ball to second base for the force out instead of trying the tough play over at first with the pitcher covering. Caminero on now. Hopefully he'll be throwing strikes. He's had to battle wildness so far this year. The 10 walks and 11 2/3 innings.
Last pitched on Friday. Gave up a run in 2/3 of an inning. Gave up a run-scoring double to Tucker Barnhart, who will follow Duvall here in the 9th.
Wow, the bottom fell out of that fastball. Great movement on it.
I noticed that was at 97. You know, maybe if he just, just a little bit less. Don't try to overthrow it. Get a little 97 with movement's really good.
Yeah.
You don't need 101 straight. You need 97 with movement sometimes.
Little slider right there. Check swing strike.
That'll get Duvall to think after colliding with the wall in left. And he gets one up near his head.
That one would have shook him up a little bit if that would have got the helmet.
One, two.
Come on, do it.
Caminero will face Schebler, due up 3rd in the inning on the double switch made by Brian Price. Both teams being resilient here in the later innings. Broke his bat, but a base hit for Duvall to start the ninth.
It was a two-seam fastball, but it didn't have the movement. It looked like it stayed straight.
Now Barnhart, who doubled off Caminero on Friday night, switch hitting catcher. Four in the ninth. Duvall has not stolen a base this year. Barnhart also doubling today. Reached on an error, one of 4 Pirates errors. Scoring the bunt. So the Reds playing for 1 run here in the ninth. Now the Reds have only won 1 road game all year. They're 1-10. And they have removed J.J. Hoover from the closer's role, but they have not needed a closer very often. They have not had many wins in close games lately. They have 1 save all year. So just to play devil's advocate here, if you're playing for 1 run, why not just go and play baseball? Because who knows who's coming on in the 9th inning. I mean, Brian Price knows, but how effective they may be. 1 run lead may not necessarily be enough.
Well, they need to just quit the National League then if they if they can't expect to pitch an inning without giving up a run. I mean, just to be on the other side of that, you know what I mean? You have to be able to think you can score a run and win the ball game in the 9th inning. If you can't think that, if you think that you're that bad, well then don't show up. They have to be able to believe that way.
5 of the 8 innings. There's a strike. That the relievers have pitched in this series, they've given up at least 1 run, and they've given up 1 run or more in 19 straight games. Now, not in every inning, but at least.
I could definitely see them not playing for 1 run in a game where they're trying to tie it up on the road.
So you say just take the lead.
You definitely, yeah. You got to play. That's the rule. You play for the win on the road. You play for a tie at home.
1-2. Ends up striking out.
Well, they want to take the lead. Now that doesn't mean you have to bunt. Now, how you take the lead, everybody has their own theories on that. You know, some people are totally against bunting. Nice little splitter, all going straight down, a good off-speed pitch with strikeout. Yeah, there's people that don't believe ever in a sacrifice bunt. You should always.
I think there's a place for it, but I'm a minimalist, a bunting minimalist. In this case, I would say just swing away, take your chances.
Well, if you're not going to bunt here, you should never bunt. Well, when would you ever bunt then? If you're not going to sacrifice in a 1-run game in the 9th.
You have just as good of a chance to score with a runner at first and nobody out than a runner at second and 1 out.
You do?
Yes, it's almost dead even. If you're talking about 1 run, it's almost
that's
the same odds.
That's the question.
But if you have a runner at first and nobody out, and a runner at second and 1 out, you have a less of a chance to score more runs over the course of the whole inning. So you actually decrease your odds of scoring more runs just by the numbers. Always credit Tom Tango for those numbers in the book, but that's the theory. But if you're playing for 1 run, it's a choice. It's a matter of preference. So, like you said, I mean, if If you want to play for 1 run and you feel like bunting's right, great. Or if you feel like swinging away, just like you said. So I'm agreeing with you.
But I don't.
This is how I argue with my wife, right? You know, I disagree with her, and then I tell her that I'm agreeing with her.
Playing for 1 run,
strategy.
playing for 1 run or more runs, to me, isn't necessarily why you should bunt or not bunt. I think the pitcher,
but you're giving up an out.
The pitcher and the lineup dictates whether you should bunt or not.
Oh, sure.
Bunt.
Yeah, I mean, if you've got a very weak hitter,
and I don't think the percentage numbers on a man at first and nobody out, or a man at second and 1 out, should make any difference either. It should be on your team and what the situation is,
sure.
who's on the mound pitching.
Well,
that scenario is, to me, is more important than just general numbers made over the Major League Baseball over the course of a season.
Yeah. 2-1 now on Schebler and on the double switch. But in my opinion, Barnhart's swinging a good bat in the series and this season. Schebler shows some pop, so I mean, go with those hitters. Now you get a weak hitter, sure, Mark. 2-1 driven. And Marte cannot get this one. Duvall being right home, and the relay is late. Run scoring double for Scott Schebler, and the Reds bounce right back. It's 5-4.
Marte missed the cutoff guy. He's trying to hit Mercer and threw it over his head.
And Duvall, not a particularly fast runner, might have had a chance at him.
Yep, they end up scoring easily.
Pirates defensively have been very, very good in April. And today, with the calendar turned, it has not been their afternoon in that regard.
Marte won't miss too many cutoff guys over the course of the season. Kind of a rare thing for him to not make a very accurate throw, but he sailed that one high. And who knows, maybe you know Mercer, even if he gets the ball, doesn't make the play at the plate. I think he would have had a better shot.
De Jesus down 2 strikes. Also batting for the first time. So the Pirates will need a run in the bottom of the 9th. Stewart, a pinch hitter, and Jaso due up. The Reds scoring an unearned run in the 8th off Jared Hughes, 2 Pirate errors.
And they beat the odds big time here. They scored a runner first with 1 out.
You get 3 chances to swing away after a leadoff single if you don't bunt. Now 2-2.
Got him home with the double.
Pirates with one of the best Aprils they've had in some time, nearly a quarter century.
Off to a good start.
Trying to find a way to pull this one out today. They were stymied for most of the game by Tim Adelman and making his major league debut, and then got the offense going against the Reds bullpen. But 4 errors today. That is led to only 1 run officially. This will be the 2nd out.
I don't know why Mercer didn't go to 3rd then.
He's kind of done that 2 or 3 times already this year. Where is Schebler?
He's out. If he goes to 3rd, that's where he is.
Maybe just taking the sure out here, I guess, with that being the 2nd out of the inning.
Down by a run, no. Yeah, you don't take the sure out. You get that guy off a scoring position, out of scoring position.
Hamilton with a double already today.
Watching that replay, the sure out was at third also.
Yeah, it looked like he could have gotten him. And Mercer's thrown over there before. It's an unusual play, but he's actually had the wherewithal to make that play a few times. Does not go 2-0. Reds trying to snap a 6-game losing skid. Pirates winning streak in jeopardy. And 3-1 on Hamilton with Votto lurking on deck. You don't want this inning to continue. They've got their run. Okay. Every batter's the tying run that comes up in the ninth against their beleaguered bullpen. If you keep it here. And you can overmatch Hamilton with that velocity from Caminero. Two. That will get him out of the inning. So a run across for Cincinnati. Can the Pirates answer again? Tomorrow we'll have all 3 games for you right here on Root Sports. Our coverage tomorrow begins at 6:30 with Pirates pregame presented by WB Mason right here on Root Sports. Big series coming up. Pirates hope to go into that series with the winning streak intact, but they're down a run here in the bottom of the ninth. 5-4 Cincinnati.
Need a walk-off win. Get everybody charged up.
How about that? Well, they keep coming back, but so have the Reds. And Ross Ollendorf will stay in. Stewart, and then a pinch hitter. Jason Rogers out on deck. And John Jaso due up. McCutchen would be 4th here in the bottom of the ninth. Pirates need a run. 2 to win it. Stewart looks at ball 1. Pirates have rallied from behind twice today, tying it with 2 in the 7th, tying it with a run in the 8th. Now 1-1 on Stewart. Stewart looking at the first 3.
Not that big wind-up from Ollendorf.
Old-timey.
That's how a guy from Texas should wind up.
That's a wind-up.
Yeah.
That's an actual wind-up. Like Paul Bird used to do that. Now 2 balls and 2 strikes. Ollendorf came on in the 8th, stranded 2 men. That used to be standard issue. 2-2. Full on Stewart. Pirates need at least a run here in the 9th. They've won 6 straight. The Reds have lost 6 in a row. Payoff pitch. We'll do it again. Ollendorf throwing hard. That one at 96. Surprising to see his velocity in the mid-90s.
Everybody's been throwing in the mid-90s today.
Good day to work.
Ball's carrying well from the mound.
Another 3-2. Hit well, but Schebler able to haul that ball in for out number 1. Good at bat for Stewart, but the Reds get their first out.
Well, he's playing fairly deep. They don't want the ball to get over their head. Have a lead-off double in a 1-run ball game. A little bit of a lunge up and a couple steps onto the warning track to make the catch.
Jason Rogers going to pinch hit for Caminero. Rogers 0 for 1 as a pinch hitter, 1 for 7 as a Pirate. A 2-run triple. That hit. The 0-1. Rogers an excellent pinch hitter last year with Milwaukee in his rookie season.
For a younger hitter, he most of the time shows good patience.
Trying to get that tying run aboard here in the 9th. Now behind the ball and 2 strikes.
Got a good pitch to hit there.
One, 2.
Another good fastball at 97 from Ollendorf.
Well, the Pirates have come back to tie twice. Will they raise it on a Sunday afternoon to keep this winning streak going? And now 2 outs in the 9th.
Good breaking ball. Got it just to the backside of the plate. And that's where you want to bounce those 2-strike breaking balls. You might get a check swing or full swing and a miss at it.
All up to John Jaso now 0 for 4. The Reds trying to win on the road for just the 2nd time this year. They're 1-10 away from Great American Ballpark. The Pirates have made 4 errors today. have come back twice. And Jaso gives this one a ride, and this one is gone! Jaso has tied the game with 2 outs in the bottom of the 9th.
That's some amazing stuff right there, isn't it?
When you talk about a team of destiny, it's things like that. Second home run for Jaso, 5-5 in the 9th.
Wow. The rally hats worked on that one.
And now Andrew McCutchen with a chance to win it.
Right down the middle. Gone. 96-mile-an-hour fastball. He turned on it.
Ollendorf could do nothing but grimace. And out away, and the Pirates come back again. McCutchen. And Duvall able to haul that in for the out. But John Jaso ties it for the Buccos. 3 comebacks, and we'll go to extra innings. With 2 outs in the bottom of the 9th, homers to tie this game. Incredible.
Yeah, that ball, had some good velocity on it. He was able to turn on it and pull it out of the ballpark. Cincinnati Red fan with the catch. I'm sure he didn't want it, but too bad.
And Ross Ollendorf, a look of disbelief. Just that close. The Pirates coming back to tie it in the 7th, coming back in the 8th, and again down to their last man in the 9th. And now in the 10th, Ryan Vogelsong.
Vogelsong. Chance at a W here. Good opponent average so far this year. Just keeping them down below 200. That's outstanding.
Pirates are 3-0 in extra innings. Joey Votto to lead it off. 1 pitch, 1 out. Hey, and you go back to Caminero in the 9th. He gave up the go-ahead run. Remember, we were talking about how he's got to buckle down and get Hamilton here, because otherwise you've got Votto. It could be 2 runs. It could be more. You think about after you've given up that run, how deflating that must feel. But to really buck up and get that last out, it's, keeping it at just that one run and having a chance to tie it on one swing. The Pirates have made 4 errors today. Hughes has given up an unearned run. Caminero a run.
When you're out there on the mound, you have to play those kind of little mind games with yourself to keep yourself going and thinking positive. That, well, okay, like you said, you gave up 1 run, can't do anything about it now, but there's still something left you can do. Keep giving your team a chance to come back.
Vogelsong's 1-0 in for a strike to Phillips. Pitcher spot due up to follow, and Jordan Pacheco has moved out on deck. He may be the last available Reds position player, with Devin Mesoraco been banged up. Vogelsong was about 2 years old when We Are Family Pirates donned those uniforms. One at 94 from Vogelsong, 3-1. And a 3-1 pitch. Struck out. Not so fast, Mr. Phillips.
Yep. Wow. Barely, but doesn't matter. It hit, just nicked the strike zone.
Payoff pitch. And fouled off. You remember playing backyard ball? Did you have like something you'd set up that you'd pitch into, a chair or something like that? That was the strike zone?
Yeah, when it was just me and you and one other guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd have to have something that was to call strikes. It would be, normally we'd have like a rectangle piece of wood that looked like the strike zone.
Yeah.
And so there was if you hit the wood, of course, it's a strike.
Yeah.
And
all you got to do is nick it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was all you had to do. It would be with the wiffle ball we'd play that.
Yeah.
Took care of all arguments. It either hit it or didn't. Kind of like our little strike zone we have in the corner here.
Yeah.
Either did or not. Nothing to argue about. It's highly accurate.
Down there they may want to argue, but up here we know it all.
Well, they don't get to see the same thing that we get to see.
Yeah. Hey, they may one day. There might be a hologram or something out there that shows the strike zone to the hitter and the pitcher in real time. Who knows?
Well, that'll happen.
On the ground. And 2 outs. Two away. The pitcher due up. And Brandon Finnegan is going to pinch hit for Ohlendorf. Finnegan is his starting pitcher. And the reason why is because Devin Mesoraco probably not available today. He is active on the roster, but has been dealing with left shoulder stiffness. So Ryan Price electing to keep his super utility guy Jordan Pacheco available just in case. So Finnegan gets an at bat. He's out 1 to 4 to 3, and Ryan Vogelsong issues a 1-2-3 10th. Harrison, Marte, Polanco coming up. Back in the 7th inning, Sean Rodriguez helping to get the Pirates back in it, and Matt Joyce following in that 2-run 7th that tied it. And in this seesaw affair, the Reds stealing a run. 2 errors in the inning, allowing Cincinnati to take the lead. The Pirates coming right back. Starling Marte with the equalizer. His 2nd hit today. Then in the 9th inning, Scott Schebler just in the game, able to double home Duvall. But John Jaso with 2 outs in the bottom of the 9th clears the wall and sends us to extra innings. Can the Pirates win their 7th in a row? If they score, they win. Harrison to lead it off. Marte and Polanco each with 2 hits today to follow. Harrison looking for his first. Coming in with a 9-game hitting streak.
Had a lot of clutch hits so far. The clutch home run by Jaso, obviously huge, but the hero is going to be remembered. Who gets that walk-off hit?
Will this fall? It will. Base hit for Harrison. And the winning run is on in the 10th.
Who's going to be the hero?
That hitting streak moves up to 10 games.
Smart hitting there. Just don't hit it hard. Just flare it out there. Get the ball rolling. Just got the ball rolling is all.
So now Marte to face Blake Wood. 5th Cincinnati pitcher. Singles in each of his last 2 at-bats.
Big lead first. No home runs. Could it end on a long ball?
It got extended because of one. Wood last year pitched at AAA Indianapolis. Marte has had a walk-off home run before against these Reds at the tail end of last season. Harrison with good wheels on at first. Wood appearing for the first time in this series. Lined into center. But Hamilton there for out number 1.
This is kind of like the scenario we were talking about a couple innings ago. About bunting or not bunting. Obviously, the Pirates are playing for 1 run because 1 run, the game's over, you win. But they don't bunt because where they are in that lineup, that they go ahead and swing away, looking to win the game that way. Now in this situation, the Reds came up with the 1-out double. Played a run.
Polanco has singled and homered today. Harrison running. And he's in there with a stolen base. 5 for 5 for number 5.
Don't always have to sacrifice to get that guy in a scoring position, do you? Not when you have speed. Not a good throw. Always tough to get a quick tag down when you also have to try and pick that ball out of the dirt.
They're going to walk Polanco now with first base opening up.
Gives him a force out at any base.
I'd rather face Sean Rodriguez. Rodriguez an RBI triple today in 4 trips.
Yeah, he got one of the big hero hits already today. See if he can get another one.
So Polanco for the 2nd straight time will be intentionally walked. How about that as a testament to his great April? Sets up the force. Harrison the winning run at second with 1 out. With good speed, he's already swiped the bag. Base hit could win it. 5-5 in the 10th. All 1.
Good eye. That was close. It's always nice to go ball 1 when you're at the plate. Immediately you start putting that pitcher in a little tougher spot. Wood firing that in there, 98 miles an hour. Man, he's bringing it.
Here's the 1-1. Now ahead, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Harrison singled, stole second. He's the potential winning run. 1 out. Marte lined out. Polanco intentionally walked. Blake Wood last year did not get a call up from the Pirates. Pitched all year in AAA. Now with the Reds. 1-2. Strike 3 called. And I don't know about this. Let's see.
Nicked it.
A disagreement.
Yeah, they need that. What'd you call it? A hologram?
Yeah.
So they can see it right down there.
Well, it's as much as a strike as the Pirates got the other end, for sure. Vogelsong. Now Mercer had a 2-out chance back in the 8th inning with Marte on at second. And Joey Votto making that slick play. A hard hit ground ball to him. Base hit could win it. Harrison there at second. 5-5 in the 10th. And 2 strikes.
Not staying back. Just a little too quick on these first 2 breaking balls.
Now 1-2. Harrison getting a decent lead from second as that pitch comes in. With that good speed, he can score on a base hit.
He takes off right now on a swing. When he sees the swing start, he can leave.
1-2. If he misses, it doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't. Yeah, that's what you get, a great jump. You see the swing, you go. 2 strikes, 2 outs. Guess the old saying is you're off with the crack of the bat. Don't wait for the crack, though. Take off even before that.
Wood strikes out Mercer, and the Pirates strand the potential winning run at second here in the 10th. Beautiful images on our Allegheny Health Network Super Mo. To the 11th we go. 5-5. Pirates have answered the bell when needed. Ryan Vogelsong delivering a 1-2-3 10th. And they return serve again. Suarez, Duvall, Barnhart due up 6, 7, and 8. Pitch 10th for Vogelsong. He last pitched on Wednesday through just an inning. Plenty of room to go today if needed.
Yeah, this is one of those type of games where nobody is scoring. You could see Vogelsong possibly getting an at bat at some point.
Well, he's due up second here in the bottom of the inning, depending on the situation.
Yeah, maybe not. If he was due up third, if it was 2 outs, nobody on, he might hit, but I don't think 1 out.
And with Freese and Cervelli both still on the bench. But I know what you're saying. Yeah, I mean, he's the guy that can give you some length.
Yeah.
Here's the 1-2. Marte playing back, can't get it.
This is going to go for 3, I
believe. 3 bases for Suarez to start the 11th.
As you pointed out, Marte was playing no doubles, so they couldn't get in soon enough to in and over to make that catch.
And the ultimate irony, you play no doubles and it becomes a triple. He hit it in the right spot. Now the infield in. And Duvall with a base hit scored the go-ahead run in the 9th for Cincinnati, but John Jaso's 2 out. Home run tied it. The Reds threatening again. Pirates had first and second with 1 out in the bottom of the 10th. Lakewood came back to strike out Rodriguez and Mercer, ending the threat. Now 2-1. This is a real tough situation to get out without a run. About 85% of the time a run scores in this situation.
Full of good news.
15% of the time it doesn't. This may
There
not
you
be
go.
deep enough. I don't think it will be. Not
No.
with Marte's arm now. That came in a little bit more than I expected. That's a shallow fly ball.
It's not going to score on my arm.
I thought it was hit to medium left. That's shallow left. So 1 away. Well, 15% of the time it works every time.
What's the percentage now?
I just
1 out.
moved off. Right.
Well, you can move back. It's a computer.
Yeah, it's
Goes back and forth.
now it's a 2/3 chance scoring. 1/3 chance you prevent the run. And there's some storms moving into the area. We've been lucky to evade the rain so far. Luck may run out soon. Tucker Barnhart. He has doubled today, 1 for 4. Go-ahead run at third for Cincinnati on the leadoff triple by Suarez. One out now. Two 2-0 on Barnhart, who has caught all 3 games of this series. Devin Mesoraco banged up. Vogelsong on for his 2nd inning. 4th Pirates pitcher. Jeff Locke went 7 strong today. Now 3-0. Scott Schebler, who brought home the Reds' 5th run with a double in the 9th, is on deck. And a 4-pitch walk. Well, the one advantage of that is, well, it does set up a double play chance here.
Schebler's got real good speed. He's going to be a tough one to double up. But if he hits it firm at somebody, he can even double up the faster guys. Sean's going to play about even with the bag over at third. Middle guys are back looking for 2.
Five straight wide ones from Vogelsong.
I'd like to see a nice ground ball to Jay Hay right now.
The Pirates trying to extend their winning streak to 7 games. The Reds trying to end that 6-game losing streak. In the 11th. 2-0. Vogelsong can't find the zone all of a sudden. Schebler with some good power, the rookie. Off to a sluggish start, though. 161 even after the double. This is going to be deep enough. And it gets by Polanco. Suarez is in to score, and the Reds will have second and third with one out. It's 6-5 Cincinnati.
Twice now Schebler has just gotten the ball over one of our outfielders. The last time up he hit it just a little bit over Marte's head. And this time Polanco, even with his long arms, couldn't reach up and make the play.
Got a slow start on that ball and not able to haul that in. They would have scored the run no matter what. But now, if he was able to get the out, maybe it's a runner at first with two outs. Instead, second and third with one out. The infield in again. And Ivan De Jesus. The Reds have kept coming back today. 6-5 they lead in the 11th. Two run scoring doubles for Scott Schebler.
The two starting pitchers definitely had something going today that no one else has.
Jeff Locke, 3 runs over 7.
Neither bullpen really shutting the other team down.
Polanco winding up. And the runner's going to be picked off here. Coming to the plate instead. And they got him 9-3 to 4-2. Barnhart out to end the inning, and the Pirates catch a break. They need a run. Do the Pirates have one more comeback in them? Polanco getting the out. You brought
what happened there was Barnhart didn't go back to tag. And when he did get back, finally he decided, oh, I got to go back and tag. And then it was too late. So now he can't go anywhere. And that's what caused all the confusion. The way the play should have went, Barnhart should have went. As soon as the ball was hit out the outfield, Barnhart should have went back, tagged, and tried to score on that. But he didn't, and the Pirates got a break. And the inning is over, and it's just a 1-run lead. And that has been a tough thing for, well, almost impossible thing for the Reds to hold on to.
Chris Stewart looking for his first hit today. A pinch hitter to follow. David Freese is out on deck. And then Jaso, who with 2 outs in the 9th, tied it with a home run.
They score, we score. They score, we score. It's been going back and forth like that.
One out. And the Pirates came back to tie it in the 7th with 2 runs. In the 8th with a run. And now the home run by Jaso in the 9th to extend it into extras. Freeze. Heading here with one out. First pinch hitting appearance. Hitting at 293. One swing of the bat could tie it. One from Blake Wood. Good stop by Suarez. 2 down.
Yeah, good stop and a nice throw. Even though he caught that, I wasn't sure he was going to be able to get up and get off a throw quick enough.
Suarez moving over from short last year, and now does Jaso have any magic?
Need a home run
left in his bat.
How about a 2-out home run?
Can lightning strike twice? And the Reds are going to get out of this with a win in the series. The Pirates' 6-game winning streak comes to an end this afternoon.
Yeah, this was a tough one to lose. There's so many opportunities. A great start today by Locke. Locke really pitched well, but it's baseball. You can't win them all. And there's 3 very important games coming up. Even though it's early in the season, it's just May. First place Cubs coming into town. Got to turn the page from this one and get ready for those guys.
Pirates fall in 11 innings this afternoon. Reds 6, Pirates 5. The final. Let's go out to Paul Antique.
All right, Joe and Walkie, thank you so much. Antique, I think one word comes to mind when you think of the Pirates today, and that would be sloppy.
Yeah, the defense, particularly on the defensive side, very sloppy. Had many opportunities. They scored enough runs to get the job done, but they gave away too many on defense. And when you do that, yes, every once in a while you're going to win a game, but most of the time you're going to get the result you got today. There's too many mistakes.